everybody, and welcome to another episode of Circle Up and Get Real, where we talk about things that matter with people who matter. And I'm so excited to have a guest. Joey, I haven't had guests for a long time. It's just been me talking on my podcast. So I love that you are my guest for a lot of reasons. So welcome to my friend Joey Pachak. And Joey, can we tell a little bit about yourself? Because you said as we were in the green room preparing for this, if you're watching on the video, Joey said, "Am I the first person to ever be on your podcast in overalls?" And you kind of are. You are actually,
That's
Joey.
right. I'm wearing the bibs today.
Tell us about
Um,
you.
yeah, I guess long story short, I grew up southern Colorado on a cattle ranch. We raised cattle and grew up with horses, riding horses, and being a cowboy, and that's what I thought I wanted to do. And honestly, uh, I take things from that, the work ethic, the longing for freedom, I guess. It was a great life. I loved it. It was wide open spaces, and I always am striving to get back to some kind of that life. But so that didn't really pan out to be a cattleman. It's tough life, and kind of bounced around, did some things in my early 20s, and different jobs, and I started welding, and I loved it. And so that brought me to the railroad, where I worked for 20 years for BNSF. Uh, Quite a few of those years in management and as a trainer. So I've always had I would say, a passion for teaching and knowledge and learning myself. Uh, I could pretty much say I was a horrible high school student. I just wasn't a good student. Now I see why in certain aspects. It just that whole thing wasn't built for me. I was a little too ornery for that. So, um, however, loved college. Ended up going to college later, and loved it. Loved to learn, loved to teach. So about 7 years I spent with as a trainer for BNSF, and traveled all over the United States. Uh, Moved up here, moved the family up here in 2015. After we moved around, kind of Kansas, Colorado, back to Colorado, Nebraska. So kind of been all over and definitely traveled everywhere. But um, after COVID, things got weird then. So traveling was pretty tough. I traveled a lot for the railroad. It was my daughter's senior year of softball and her senior year of high school. And I'm just like, man, I can't be on the road. I don't want to do this. And lo and behold, the railroad actually was going to expand my territory. So I said, I don't want to do this. So started my welding business back up in 2025 or 2020, and just did a few smaller projects and things like that. Didn't really have the time to focus and do what I needed to do there to actually run it full time. Instead, I just worked like, 80, 100-hour weeks, and yeah, ended up getting myself sick, went through a thing with, an autoimmune disorder, and, just ran my body down. And my body said, you know what? If you're not going to rest, we're going to make you rest. So after a week in the hospital, contemplating life and not knowing what was wrong, that was pretty scary. But some decisions were made there to, like, go full bore with my business, and you know what? Hey, I got 20 years with the railroad. Um, let's go for it. So that, in a nutshell, is how I became where I'm at. Started the business. But we're not here to really talk about welding
Well,
and such, are
no,
we?
but we kind of are because it's you. I mean, so listeners, this is the kinds of conversations I love to have. I did not give you any indication of who Joey is or what we're going to talk about because I just wanted you to know Joey and who he is and who I know him to be. But do you remember when we met and how we met and why we met, Joey?
I do. Your My wife, Melissa, was talking about their chill out event, and I was like, man, that sounds really cool. So I think we had met, I think honestly, I believe we went to like a men's group. You were having a coffee group, and I started there. And then I was like, okay, I got to come to chill out. Luckily, I was, had the time to do that. I went in there, and honestly, that changed my business life.
Wow.
Um, it did. I had some thoughts. I wanted to do certain things with my business. A lot of these, nagging feelings of like, hey, you got your 20 years in with the railroad. Like you're young enough. Let's go for it. Like what do you got to lose? Like if I fall
Hmm.
on my face, I still have that pension. I
Hmm.
know that's there. Is it the right time? Who knows? I don't know. But James Spooner, his talk during that event was one thing that really stuck with me. And it was he talked about manifestation, and he also, um, you know, it's crazy how all this stuff happens. So I met
I
Chris
know.
Angel. I meet Chris Angel. We're talking, and then we just hit it off. The guy is just a magnet, but we hit it off. And I was talking to him, and we were talking about, goals and things of that nature. And I'm like, man, I'm not a goal person. I don't like goals. Um, because there's an ending to those. And how everything, the way the world works and the way it's supposed to work, that was one of the main topics that Mr. Spooner talked about was, oh yeah, I had a goal to be a millionaire at age 25 or whatever it was. I got there. I'm got my Rolls Royce, I got all my stuff. Oops, now what? Oh,
Yeah.
uh-oh. I didn't look beyond that.
Yeah.
And so that's where I've come up with this. I want to be a man of vision. I love having a vision. I love how, yes, there are goals within that vision. You have to have goals. I get that. But I don't want an end to what I'm doing.
Mm.
I want it unattainable or just outside so that there's always something to grow for, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so I want
Um,
to go back and tell you how I remember we met because it's going to impact this a little bit. We have a mutual friend, Suri, and Suri told me you have to meet this guy, Joey. You you and Joey would hit it off. So I said, okay, I trust my friend Suri, and I think I reached out to you. I can't remember. I think I reached out to you and I
you
said,
did. You
Suri says
sent
we
me a
need to meet.
text.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Suri says we need to meet. And so then you and I met. And here's the thing, everybody. I trusted Suri. So the relationship that I had with her automatically transferred to the relationship I felt I could have with you. And
Yes.
so we did not have a surface level conversation the first time you and I met. We had a real dialogue. We jumped into real things. I'll never forget that. I then invited you to the men's group, but
That's
when
right.
you and I, right? Because it was different. There was a different feeling to that conversation. It was not surface level. We talked about a lot of things the very first time we met because I think we both trust Suri.
Right.
Is that is
Right.
that true on your end?
Oh, 100%. And it's it's been wild. Like, my wife, Melissa, she's, all over Fargo famous.
Mhm.
People know her.
Yeah.
She's in the wellness field. I am a cowboy railroader, welder guy from Colorado who's a little on the hippie side. I'm not
Uh-huh.
afraid to admit it.
Yeah.
Um, that cowboy hippie kind of thing. But I love these people that she's introducing me to, and they've
Yeah.
brought me, just some of the best relationships. Yeah, Sari. I mean, she's awesome,
Yeah.
right?
I know,
Love
right?
that lady. And just the help. that's out there is so cool. And then when I got to, go to the chill out event and really hang out with some of those people, that was cool. That was cool.
So,
And
so again, I'm going to back up again just because you and I are already on this thing, but I want you to tell our friends that are listening about, do you remember the first, I'm going to tell you the first conversation we had. You said to me, because at the time, when you moved back here, you might have to back up a little bit. You were not married to Melissa. You met Melissa here, right?
we did. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you told me about how you met Melissa.
It was crazy. Yes.
Because what okay, so everybody, the theme of today's conversation with Joey is manifestation. We're going to talk about how it is that things just happen to come our way. And Joey, whether you have known it or not, I bet in your whole life you've been a master at this whole thing called manifestation.
I,
So tell us
I
about how you met Melissa.
yes. So and you're right. Now that I look back on my life, that gut feeling is
Hmm.
I'm pretty in tune there, but I never put a finger on it. And I honestly used it years ago in visualization and things of that nature. And I kind of put it off to the side because I just dumped my into my work, and I just kind of got in this little box and that's what I did. And so how I met Melissa, this is crazy. So uh yeah, I was separated, getting divorced, not really knowing what I was doing, I guess. And I was working on a job on some railing and I needed to get material. And I woke up that morning, Friday, I'll never forget. I used to live north of town here, lived in Hunter, and I had to come to town, get material, uh planned on working all weekend on some railings. So I'm cooking my bacon and eggs and I'm just kind of meandering around the kitchen having coffee, and it's like 7 in the morning, and I'm like, man, I should go to this particular place. Like, I haven't been there in years, right? And I'm like, oh, whatever, just a fleeting little in and out of your head, whatever. Blow it off, eat breakfast, go to Fargo. Um, had a few appointments and errands to run, and it's like noon, and now it's like I need to be at this certain place at 12:30, or I'm sorry, at 5:30, like a very specific time. And I'm like, okay, like it was a little bar and grill. I'd been there once. I hadn't been back in years, and I just it wasn't anything at first. Like, I never went back. It was out of the way. But the seed was planted and the plant was steadily growing. And by about 4:45, I'm at the grocery store. And I'm one of I'm like pretty thoughtful, try to be very kind and have manners. I got a whole grocery cart full of groceries, ice cream and everything. And I'm looking around and I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, I have to be at this place at 5:30. It's overwhelming. And I'm like, I don't have enough time to run around the store and put all this stuff back. And I'm like, I just walked up to a worker at the grocery store and I'm like, I gotta go. I'm sorry. I will come back and get all my groceries again, but I have to go. And I left. And I unhooked my trailer and I drove to this little bar and grill, and I walk in and it's like right below before 5:30 and nothing. There's nobody in there. There's like three people in the whole place. So I sit down and I talk to this lady for a little bit, just a little conversation. You know me, I'll talk to a tree if it stands there long enough. But I'm just like, okay, this was like nonsense. And I finished my drink and I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to order supper. I'm just going to go and thank the lady for the conversation. But I was like, what am I doing here? Like, have a great night. I turn around and in walks Melissa. my wife. And she always says
Your
it's
wife
like,
now.
yeah, it's like the cartoons, right? Like just, oh my God, tongue out, eyeballs bulge out. I just knew, and I'm like,
Uh,
holy cow, this is why I'm here. Crazy enough, the lady that I was talking to was her friend. They're visiting. I'm like, hey, we just struck up a conversation. I'm like, I want to keep talking to you. We trade phone numbers and yeah, the rest is history. So
It's so funny because you told me this tall blonde walked in and I just knew that was the one,
I knew
right? That's what you
that was
told me.
it. That was all over. Now, so the crazy part of all of this, if that wasn't crazy enough, um, is Melissa, weeks later, after I told her, and she, hey, this is what really happened. Like, I couldn't help myself. I had to be there. And she's like, wow, this is crazy. Because she had gotten out of a relationship, kind of I don't know, it was a whole thing. But she had done a course. Her sister introduced her to this course called Calling in the One.
Mm,
And it basically talks about not who's the person I'm looking for, but who do I need to become to attract that person. And I always say, like, she called me in, like, I mean, it was such a draw to be there. It's unexplainable how that felt. I mean, down to the specific time. So then I'm like, okay, this is crazy. So I hear her side of the story, and I'm like, I start thinking about listening to our intuition, like listen to your gut. I've always had a good, I don't know why, if it was my upbringing, if it was, I've been on my own a long time. So trusting people has been an issue. Uh, Trusting my gut has not. I've always trusted my gut. And but to actually listen to it and not and then use that is something that I'm learning every day still.
mhm, mhm,
But yeah, to know that she was manifesting, a person to come into her life and I was listening to that, I think is like one of the most powerful things. And
mhm,
then we can all do it. There's not a
mhm,
doubt in my mind that every one of us can train. It's like a muscle to be trained, honestly. Visualization, manifestation. I'm no expert at it. I've read some of the books. I wish I had more time because I would love to just sit
mm,
and read and read and read, but I don't. And
mhm,
so uh here's what my take is on the whole manifestation thing. And I feel like it's all within us. It's in our subconscious. It's in there, much like some of the medicines and plant medicines and things that people use. I do believe there's an entity or a spirit or something out there, but I definitely believe a lot of that is us. It's in our subconscious. But the things we tell ourselves and the BS to, oh, you're not good enough for that, or you're not, that's for the big people to like, you're not wealthy enough, you can't go after that. It's all BS. And
mhm.
down deep, if you really listen to yourself and that subconscious, it's there and it's in everyone. Um,
So
I-
what's funny about that, Joey, when I look at, and if you're watching this on a video and you would think that you're hearing this spiritual guru, sitting on a yoga mat somewhere. Joey's big, burly dude with a beard and bib overalls. I mean, this is not something, it doesn't feel like it goes with what I would expect.
no,
Doesn't,
it's pretty woo wooey if you want to think
yeah.
about it, but it's not. It's real stuff.
Hmm.
Yes, that kind of goes back to me being a little bit cowboy hippie, whatever, but uh, you know, call it whatever. I mean, a god, a spirit, those things are around. I mean, it's there. We need to learn to use it and listen to it. And I
Hmm.
mean, think about it. If you start your morning having a crappy morning, and you spill your coffee and then you do this and then you lock yourself out of your car and then it's that whole day goes like that, right? And it's, yeah, part of it is a mindset, but part of it is we just start tripping over ourselves and it just one bad decision leads to the next. And we're not in a happy spirit. We're not like, oh, we're not looking for good. We're looking for, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Well, what's
Mhm.
going to happen next is you're going to trip going up the stairs on your way to your office. And then you're going to drop something. And then this phone call is not going to go the way you wanted it to because you're just not in it. You're not in that flow. You're
Mm,
looking for all the bad things. What's next?
mm,
Well, change your attitude and say what's next. And it's pretty wild to see.
mm,
Start with a little bit of happiness in the morning. And then that builds and that builds. And and if you're really struggling with that, like get help. Call
mhm,
someone that is bubbly. Call somebody that you're gonna have a fun conversation with. That
mhm,
just kind of changes your whole outlook on the day.
mhm,
But as far as like hardcore manifestation, this is one thing that, and it sounds crazy, but Melissa and I, I feel like you got to have these goals and these things, right? And everything should be working towards that. You should be doing those things for yourself, if not for anyone else. But start small. I met a guy in Costa Rica years ago, and this dude had a motto, and it was too small to fail. You know,
mhm, mhm,
if you're, he's like, people beat themselves up because, oh, I'm gonna make a New Year's resolution. I'm gonna go lift weights and I'm gonna get skinny. And by January 10th, you quit already, or the 20th, you've already quit. But because you beat yourself up, right? You're seeing no results, and that's the other thing. Everybody's so results focused. Forget it. The process. Put the
mhm,
process in place, and everything's going to work.
mhm,
But his thing of too small to fail is look for one thing that's so tiny that it's a win. If
mhm,
it's one push up today and two tomorrow, you're not going to lose 10 pounds doing that. But
mhm,
guess what? If you're not going to feel like a failure, it's going to feel like a win. And
mhm,
so if you're writing a book and you're stuck and you can't do anything, write for 10 minutes. Just
mhm,
write for 10 minutes. Because at the end of the day, you can't go to bed at night and say, God, I didn't even write today.
mhm.
And it's only 10 minutes,
Right.
2 minutes, whatever it is.
Mhm,
But what changing your mindset to these positive wins, I think opens you up to being able to manifest and visualize. And if you're stuck in these ruts, all you're seeing is the mud, right? Like that's all
yeah,
you see is like
right.
more and more bad things. Um,
So I know you have new things to share because the story about
you,
Melissa is pretty, oh wow, what a coincidence. Isn't that crazy? But that's not the only thing. I mean, you are showing Joey that this is an actual way of being that any of us, you're saying, could establish it for ourselves because you in the railroad industry having your own welding business, I mean, there are things happening right now that you haven't even told me about yet. You've just said it's
yeah,
amazing. So that's why
it
we had to get
is
together
amazing.
here.
Yeah, it's cool. And we'll have to do one of these in a few months because I can't
Yeah,
say a
right.
few things yet. But
Okay.
um, where I was talking about manifestation and just simply try this exercise before you get to Costco or the grocery store or wherever. Start visualizing that best parking spot you can ever.
Mhm.
Melissa and I laugh about it all the time. But when we're in tune and the universe is clicking, I don't care if it's Sunday afternoon after church. I'm getting the best parking spot
Yeah.
at Costco. And it sounds lame, but start that small. Just start picturing yourself driving up to anything, restaurant, and start living in that. Oh, I got the best spot. That's my spot. I should just put a cone there because that is so my spot. People should just be standing there ready to wave me in because that's my spot. And believe it with all your heart.
Mhm.
And the first few times it happens, and you go, Oh my God. Well, what a coincidence, right? Oh,
Hmm.
this can't be. Oh no, I would say 99 out of 100 times that's my spot.
Hmm.
And the crazy thing is, it's usually within a spot or two of my spot.
Wow.
So if I don't get my particular one, it's right next to it or one side or the other. This stuff works. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So,
Yeah.
yeah, as far as business stuff, yeah, I sat there with all of this mindset of, gosh, man, I'd like to bid on that job, but man, that's for the big guys. That's for my company is small. It's basically me, at that time. And I'm like, I can't, I spent months talking myself out of it. And I'm like, there's no way I could do that. Made a lot of excuses. Oh, well, I've got this railroad work to do, and I've got this going on. And then one day, yeah, I mean, okay, so backing up a little bit, when all of this really happened, when my business went nuts, I broke my neck. I was on a bicycle wreck. I broke my neck. Um, you know, uh, had just wasn't married yet or anything. We were dating, but I was divorced. I was like, my life was kind of going down the crapper, right? And I break my neck. Kind of self-inflicted, but whatever. Just being crazy, being me, wrecked a bicycle, broken neck. All right. So I'm like, what am I gonna do with myself? How is this? So I started like reading. It's about the only thing I could do. I couldn't work, I couldn't, do much of anything else. And so a lot of that was a change in me. And I get this email about bidding a big project here in Fargo. And instead of telling myself why I couldn't do it, I started going, what if? What if I did bid this? What if I got it? What if this launched me into exactly what I want? What if I have all my 20 years in with the railroad by the time this thing kicks off? What if everything just falls into place? And then I start looking at it as an umbrella and I go, okay, there's all these projects. I've done everything in this under this umbrella. I've just never done them all at once. And I've never done them under one umbrella. And
Hmm.
instead of thinking, oh, this is for the big guys, now I'm thinking, I can figure this out. I will figure this out. By God, I'm just going to bid it. And then we'll see what happens. And then in that process, I'm like, no, this is mine. I want this. This is going to happen. And it did happen. And that set the trajectory for the rest of what's happening in my business now. Uh, met
So you
someone
you you
like,
broke your
go ahead.
neck though. Hang on, we got to go back here. How long ago was that?
That was like August of 2022.
So that's not that long ago. And
No,
obviously you're I
no.
didn't know that about you. You
Yeah.
recovered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fine. Actually, it's funny. My neck feels better now than before I broke it. It's that must have dislodged some old rodeo injuries or something. I don't know. I feel great. I feel great. 50
Wow.
years old. I mean, I feel awesome. I feel reborn. I'm starting
Hmm.
over.
Hmm.
I just had a baby. We had a baby.
Hmm.
She's 3 months old. And
Hmm.
she's precious, by the way. And I tell
Hmm.
everybody, if you're going to have a baby when you're 50, have this one because she is so cool. Just laid back. She's kind of a little hippie herself, like just
Yeah.
very chill. Just like take care of me, hang out with me. That's all I want. We're fine.
So
So
just
yeah,
imagine Joey, who's I don't know, Joey, you're big, you're a big guy. And
6'3", 300 pounds. I'm a
okay,
big dude.
6'3", 300 pounds. And you're at an event. I had an event a while ago, and this big dude comes in with this wrap around him and this little baby. What? She must have been a month old then. This little tiny
Probably a
baby,
month
this
old. Yeah.
big guy is wrapped up in this little baby. And it's the cutest thing ever just to see that. But then You don't know this part, I don't think. So then we had the event and she didn't make a peep. She didn't say anything. And you and Melissa were in two different parts of the room as we were having these conversations. And we're getting done with the event and I look over at you and you are taking a little picture of her. She's like right up next to you and you've got your camera and you're taking a picture of her. It was the cutest thing ever. And it was just, I love who you be. And again, I'm going to go back to that language, what sounds weird, but I love who you be, Joey, because everything you do comes from that space of, you call it hippie cowboy, and you said Josie's going to
Right.
be a hippie cowboy too, but that's because that's the environment she's being raised in.
For
It's
sure.
amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I choose to surround myself with people like that. The beauty of owning a business is you hire who you want and you
Mhm.
hire people that align with you and not the same as you,
Right.
but they down deep, we gotta be working towards the same things
Mhm.
and we gotta have the same values. Um, you can believe a million different things, but those core values you gotta have, right?
Right. Right.
And that's who I choose to be around. And
Right.
that's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of all of this stuff. But yeah, as far as like taking this manifestation and visualization, I told you like so I rodeoed in high school, played baseball, couple even after high school. And I can remember in the sport of rodeo, especially like the visualization that was being taught back then was huge. You
Mm.
visualize every jump this horse is going to make, every move, everything, and then you start seeing it and
Mm.
you're dreaming, you're smelling it, like you're smelling the arena. You hear the gate latch pop. You know what's going to happen before it happens, and you're visualizing that. And for it's no different when you kind of make your mind at peace. And a lot of high school kids probably didn't do this. I was one that kind of brought it over from rodeo into baseball. I
Mm.
could see a baseball. I could see the pitcher winding up. I could see hitting the ball. I kind of just would go through these things in my head. And then it went away. I just quit doing it. I was like, got done with sports, and I thought, oh, that stuff's only for sports, right?
Mm.
And then I went to work and I'm like, well, hell, I can do this in my sleep. I don't need to visualize this.
Mm.
Like what, and I just was living life. And I was doing that for years. And then I would, I think getting ready for a lesson or a presentation, I think I would visualize a little bit there. I
Mhm.
would
Mhm.
study, I would kind of visualize the room and what I'm going to say. But that I wasn't using it for my life, I was just
Mm.
kind of floating along. And I feel like, man, when you hit 50, and it's kind of like that halfway point for me, like for real, because I'm gonna live to be 100. And
Mhm.
then that's it. All I'm done. I'm checking out. We're fine. But I do want to build, I will live to 100.
Yeah.
So uh, it's like that halfway point, and I'm like, okay, time to start over. Time to make me happy.
Mm.
Uh, Time to live the life that I wanted and really make it happen. Like
Mm.
pull the plug on things that are comfortable if they're not putting you where you want to be.
Mhm.
And so through all that, that's where I'm just like, okay, now, granted, I've got a fail safe. If I fall on my face, I'm like, I have 20 years experience doing this. Uh, if everything went away tomorrow, I know I could get a job the next day. I got a work
Mhm.
ethic. I'm healthy. I can do these things, right? That's good. That's all I needed to say. I'm burning the bridges. I'm burning the boats. Here we are. We're gonna build this, and that feels so good. Unbelievable.
And the thing about being with Joey, I think you can get this even if you're listening to this. You get that Joey is somebody who just exudes real. This is what the podcast is about: radical, energized, authentic, and learning focused. And you've just touched on all of those things. through your story that you've shared. And to me, that space of being real is so scary to a lot of people that they will continue down a road that they think somebody else told them to be or do.
Oh my gosh, in relationships and
Hmm.
work and career and all of that stuff. It's like you, and then like who, it's like Melissa's thing. Like, who do you have to be to attract those people?
Hmm.
What do I need to work on in my life to attract that? Well, yeah, I mean, oh my God, I don't even want to think about it. It's miserable going somewhere that you don't want to be, in a job you don't want to do,
Hmm.
for people you don't want to be around. It's the worst thing ever. But how many of us are stuck doing that? I did it for a lot longer than I should have. I probably should have pulled the plug 5 years before I did, but I did. And there's a reason for all that too. However, I refuse to live my life like that again. I will never, ever live my life to just get by or to do things because they're comfortable or because that's what you should do. No. And I won't. I will not do that.
Yeah.
And whether it's personal relationships, anything, I am not scared to, everybody's like, oh, don't burn bridges. No, burn them, set them on
Mhm.
fire and burn them, and don't look back. If you
Yeah.
know it's wrong, just go. Like,
Yeah.
do for you, like, do for yourself, like, get away
Mm.
from that and go somewhere else. And honestly, like in business and things like that, sometimes you have to.
Mhm.
You always lean in that safety net or whatever. No, just get rid of it and jump. Like, that's, so many of us are so scared to do that.
Yeah.
And even though we think we don't know. I don't know how all this is gonna pan out. I have
Right.
no freaking clue. I would love to have it all just go fine and dandy, but it's not. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna be, you know, late nights, travel, whatever, things that I don't want to do, but it's going to work. It's going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so
I think
that's
the difference that I get when I'm with you, I remember what the last time we got together and just out of the blue you said, "Hey, are you available? Can you have coffee?" And just
right.
being right and just being in your space, being in your energy is magnetic. Like you said, you have to be the person who can attract the things you need. And so in that space of I'll figure it out, burn the bridges, do all those things, I never hear you saying anything about what's wrong or bad. You never say, that guy was an ass, that guy was stupid, this was dumb. You never say that. I don't know if you feel that at any time, but what you're
Of
doing is
course.
demonstrating, I know, is demonstrating the power of going toward what you do want, not away from what you don't.
Well, and going back to surrounding yourself with people, that's why I reached out to you. Like, there's times, man, I'm just like, God, who can I talk to about this? And I am not scared to pick up a phone and call you. I consider you a friend, and
Mhm.
you are awesome to talk to. And I walk away from our coffee meetings or our chats or our whatever, and I feel better. And then I'm on to another fight another day, right?
Right,
But I
right.
always feel better when I talk to you. And I have
Mhm.
those people that are like that. So instead of like focusing your time on people that don't make you feel better,
Mhm.
like, why not pick up the phone and text the Jody Box in your life and be
Mhm.
like, hey, do you got 30 minutes? Like, let's go have coffee, like,
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
Do you have time for a little phone call? Can we chat for 15 minutes?
Mhm.
Man, that stuff. Uh-oh.
No, you're good.
Oh, I don't know where you went.
I'm still here. I can still see you. We're all good.
Oh, good. So yeah, oh, there you are. That's huge to have those people in your corner. But it's not a big thing to me, I guess. Maybe it's a big thing. I don't know. I've learned a few things in the past few years. Uh, one, I shouldn't say sober. I quit drinking. I quit
Mhm.
drinking a couple years
Mhm.
ago, and your friend group gets smaller. It does. I mean, And you know, that's one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm fine, but my friends were like, oh, we don't want to invite you because we don't want it to be awkward for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, once we had that conversation, like, I don't care. And I'm not gonna, just because I see someone drink a beer, I'm not gonna go tackle them and wipe the beer out of their hand. I don't care. I can be in the club, I can go to the bar, I can do whatever, and it doesn't bother me. That's me. That's my
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
Some people cannot be around it and
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be around it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, once these guys are figuring that out, then it's all cool, right? Like,
Mm.
okay, we can still we can still invite you to come ice fishing or whatever it is. Like,
Right.
we can still
Right.
hang out. Cool.
Yeah.
So keeping those people around is great. But
Mm-hmm.
also I feel like I'm always seeking out cool people. Always. So these events, your chill out event, nothing but cool people. So
Mm-hmm.
you can go there, you meet people and like hit it off on a different level and from wildly different backgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
like wildly different. Nobody is like me that I've ever met at any
Right.
of these things, right? Like I'm not. I feel like I'm kind of the Lone Ranger here a little bit. Like I'm the only one that I've met like me, or my background, and
Mm-hmm.
but I have a lot in common with a lot of people in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, hey, you know what? We're not so different. And we can be friends now. We can align and like, even if we're not friends, we can be bounce ideas off each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I need that. I need that. Everyone needs that.
Right.
Um, I know we're kind of off topic of manifestation,
We're
but
not off topic at all. This is perfect. This is exactly what it means. Manifestation doesn't necessarily only mean I want that car and I'm going to do everything in
oh,
my life to be sure I can get it. That's like forcing something. And we can make
right.
anything happen if we just say I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'll walk all over people and I'll get that thing to happen because force is one thing. I mean,
Yeah.
sure. But you're not talking about that. We're talking about friends and we're talking about relationships and we're talking about becoming the person to whom the things are attracted. And you go, how did that happen? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I planted that seed 5 years ago. I didn't even go dig it back up. It was working underground. That's how manifestation works, I think.
Oh, for sure. And you know, if I of all things and all people, uh one person I always love and he should narrate every book on tape is Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, I know, right? Yes. Green
But
lights.
he talks about, you know, manifestation and it's crazy. Like he wrote those 10 things down, his 10 goals, but he I was listening to something he said a little while ago and it was like that made perfect sense. When you are focused on that car, or I'm going to own that car, or whatever, and he said a Maserati in 5 years, I'm going to own that Maserati, and he goes, you're putting all your energy into that, and that's what you're going to do. And then he's like, what if in 5 years you don't even like Maseratis, but
Right,
you like
right,
something else? And I
right.
think, yeah, when you're chasing down those physical things and material things, yeah. Hey, you know what? I have a list and I believe the power of just writing it down. I believe in that. Write it
Mhm,
down. I
mhm.
will this, I have that. But also the way you talk, the way I talk to people, the way I say things, I'm already in the present tense because I am this
Yeah,
person.
right,
And the
right.
power of that is untapped, I think.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I'm going to do this. Well, are you or not? It's great, but you know, put it out there. That's what I did. And people I've worked around are like, you're freaking nuts. That's not going to happen. Guess what? It's happening. It's already happened, and it's going to
Mhm.
happen a whole bunch more. So throw it out there, you know.
Right.
And honestly, I've used that for fuel. Like, I want people to tell me that I'm crazy, that it's not going to be happening, or that you can't do it. Tell me that
Mhm,
because
mhm.
I'm stubborn, if nothing else. I am that.
Yeah.
Um, I, you know, I tell Melissa all the time, I'm like, I'm the most bullheaded person. My grandma's been passed away for about 15 years, and she's probably number one. and she raised me and my brother. And I was 9 years old, and we got into an argument. And I grabbed my stuff and I stomped down the hill, and I said, "Well, I'm going to go live in the old house." And that was the house that on the ranch there where my grandpa was raised, and it was his parents' house. Old wood stove, hand pump water, no toilet. Had a little thing. My grandma says, "Fine, fine. You want to act like that? Go live down there." Well, I did for 2 years. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm hard headed. I would come up and eat dinner with them, but that was my house. That's where I lived. So I'm
Wow.
hard headed. I am that. But yes, you gotta open yourself up. You gotta, let people in. But yeah,
Mhm.
let them challenge you. Uh, Have a chip
Yeah.
on your shoulder. It's not a bad thing
Right. Yeah,
if you
that's
use
funny.
it for good.
Yes, it's funny you said that. That came up in a coaching call I had with one of my current coaching clients, and we were talking about chip on your shoulder. We named it Chip. Chip has had a job. Chip's job is to keep you safe. Chip's job is to make sure that you don't, you know, run out in front of a train. You work behind the train.
Exactly.
And so we can thank Chip for what Chip's done for us. We don't have to necessarily use it as a victim. Chip's not a victim for us. Chip's like helping us develop our own, what we really do want and who we really are, I think.
Exactly. It's so funny. I was just last night, I mean, I'm an off the cuff kind of guy, I'd shoot from the hip. But one thing I did, I like read back through one of my journals, and it was actually a kind of a, oh man, what do you call it? Like a um hypnotic session with Sari, but it
Oh
was
yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
some, childhood regression and stuff. And it was that was one of the things in my journal that I talked about was where that chip on my shoulder came from. And not in a bad way. I wasn't like, I mean, some people probably perceive me as
Mhm.
a jackass, but um, it wasn't about that. It was just about proving to myself more than anybody else, and to teachers, and to, high school was rough. I was not a good student. I was a jerk. I had a lot of fun, but
Mhm.
I wasn't, it wasn't for me. And I had a lot of people, teachers, things that you're never going to amount to anything. You're
Mhm.
never going to be anything. You're never going to, unless you sit here and learn this stupid test, you're not going to be anything. Well, I can remember that stuff like fueled me for a long time, and it
Mhm.
did. And I remember I worked all summer one year, just busted my butt, doing everything I could do. The minute I got out of school, just so I could drive a brand new pickup to a basketball game and show it off to my teachers and be like, "Yeah, make more than you," and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I was using that. I was kind of an ass about it.
Mhm.
So moving forward, I think we can still use that chip, but like you said, use it for good and not evil. And it's not a bad thing.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I think what I call that in a way is own every part of you. Own the parts of you
yes,
that you're
yes.
uncovering. You don't get rid of those and say, I don't want that, because then you're in the don't want space, right? You got to own who you are and what got you there.
Oh, for sure.
You've been talking about a lot of things that you've put together as you've been looking back on your life. And I think it was Steve Jobs who said, you can only connect the dots of your life looking back. You can't connect them looking forward. So why not look back and go, yeah, that got me here, that got me here. Yep, I'm grateful for that. That wasn't the best experience, and it still made me who I am. If we
I
can own
do.
that.
And yeah, I think about that a lot. And it's those values, it's the hard work ethic, it's the smarts you learn from growing up kind of tough,
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, those things are what's going to make my life better from here on. I'm not going to say easier, but it will get easier. It is getting easier.
Hmm.
Just the peace I have now,
Hmm.
the um, you know, not the just like not everything is worth the fight, like just walk away.
Right. Right, right,
Just
right.
that's wisdom, I guess. Melissa
Mm.
says I'm getting into my wisdom phase now, which is awesome. I love that,
Yeah.
and I get so busy, and like there's so many things I want to do. I want to help young people. I want to do things, young tradespeople. That's like a passion I have. And there's something there. I'm gonna get there. I'm getting there. It's just you can't, some of this stuff, you just can't rush it. It's got to
Right,
happen when the opportunity is there.
right.
Meditating and manifesting and visualization allows me to see when those opportunities are there. And it doesn't
Nice.
have to happen next week. I can meet someone and like put them on a shelf and go, oh man, that guy, I can use that person for that, and
Mhm.
still keep contact. But those doors, that's just another door that opened, and allowing myself to see those things rather than just walking with my head down.
Right, right.
That's huge. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of your audience, I would say, are entrepreneurs. Is that fair to say?
I think so. Yeah. I think we're pretty wide range, but I would guess we have a fair number of entrepreneurs. Yes.
Or leaders, I would say.
Yeah.
Leaders
Leaders. Hmm.
for sure. And
Hmm.
and that's one thing. Man, I touched on this a little bit last time we talked there at Bruhala, but just being process driven, I look at things. I used to be such a results guy. Like, I want to see the bottom line of everything. I have to have this. And hey, let's face it, I've got a kid that's, 28 years old, and it's all about results. If he's not
Hmm.
seeing results this week, he's going to rearrange his whole life because it hasn't
Hmm.
happened yet. Like,
Hmm.
dude, chill, like allow things to happen.
Right.
Oh, this is just terrible and the world's falling down. No, it's really not. This is just a path to an
Mm.
end. Like, you're on the path.
Mm.
Having the focus shift from the results and shift to the processes has been probably one of the best things I've ever done for myself.
Mm.
Because I know that if every process to a job is followed, I know what the result's going to be. I don't even have to guess. Um, it's like in welding. There's a welding procedure. Well, your amperage has to be this, your material has to be that. There's all these things that have to happen. And if have the right travel speed and arc length and all these things, guess what? You're going to produce a good weld on the other end.
Mm.
I'm not even worried about that, because if I have all my things in order except for one, I'm never going to get a good weld.
Mm.
If I do
Mm.
all these things, but then I don't turn my amperage up, I'm not going to have a good weld. So I didn't follow the process to the end. I have to do that. Whether it's working with people, animals, um, weight loss, starting a business. Man, how many times that I've done it, like step on the scale every day or once a
Mm.
week, and it's like, oh, nothing's happening. I'm eating good. I'm going to the gym. Okay, but I only did it like twice. So I don't have a good process, and I'm expecting to see results. That's all, I got
Mm.
to see that result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I don't. For what?
Right.
I beat myself up to where, what do? I quit.
Right.
So
So good. This is so good,
stick to
Joey.
that
You
process.
you have so much wisdom to share, and I would love you to have the opportunity to connect with people. So if people wanted to just meet you for coffee, or if I don't know if you're looking for people for your business, young people you can mentor,
Yeah,
any of those kinds of things. Are
for
you looking
sure.
for that? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always, I'm always just a phone call away. I mean, you never know. Uh,
Yeah.
and especially in the business that I'm in, I say that all the time. It is a phone call away. That next phone call could be hey, I've got a 6 month job somewhere that
Yeah,
requires 15 people. Like
right.
that's a reality.
Yeah.
So I try to, I keep things pretty lean as far as like who I've got working for me, but uh always looking for people that, oh, hey, we're gonna, as maybe on even a contract basis, like, hey, I
Hmm.
need you for 2 weeks or a month
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
whatever. But that being said, high school, fresh out of high school, somebody that's never welded before and then a totally different field that wants to try it, man, set up a time, come by the shop. I'll show you a few things and you play around. Like
Nice.
that's what we do. So,
So there are
uh,
a lot of opportunities to connect with Joey. If you've heard
yeah, for
anything
sure.
you like today, Joey, how can people get a hold of you? What's the best way?
I mean, reach out Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all those things. As Joey Paycheck, but then also all around metalworks.
Okay.
We
We'll
do,
put
yeah,
all of this in the show notes, everybody, so you can have
yeah, for
access to
sure.
Joey, right?
Um, yeah, I mean, even yeah, phone number. I'll throw that out there if you want to text or whatever. And I usually pick up my phone. I'm old. I'm old school when it comes to that. We had a party line when I was a kid. So you had one, there was like, I don't know, 15 neighbors on there.
That's
So when the
awesome.
phone rang, it was cool, right? So yeah, I'm still one of those guys. Like I feel like it's a rude not to answer it. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
it's kind of
So
bad.
when you
Yeah.
get Joey in your phone and you know he's calling, pick it up,
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh
Joey, this has
no.
been a joy. This has been such a, it's been an hour. This is how fast time flies when we're together.
Gosh,
I
it
know.
does fly when you're having fun.
I love it.
But
And we will do a follow-up in a few months and just see how what you're working on now starts coming in. Because
that would be great.
I'd
Yes,
like to
I
keep
have
everybody
like
on board.
more of that other kind of, yeah, railroad stuff I can talk about. But yeah, I'm moving into a new shop here in the next couple weeks. So yeah,
Nice.
we've
Things
outgrown
are
our other
happening.
one already. So we're
Okay.
moving on, moving up. So
This is not just woo-woo, everybody. This is actual physical
no,
results that we're seeing and feeling and experiencing.
100%. It is the most real thing you'll ever try. And just look for a parking spot. Find your parking
Do
spot.
that.
Start
That's a
there.
great one.
Just start
Awesome.
there. Too small to
That's
fail.
That's too small to fail. This is great advice from Joey Paycheck this week. You guys find a way to get real, radical, energized, authentic, and learning focused. Find a parking spot. Do something that's so small you can't fail at it. Joey, thank you so much for being with me,
I love
and
you, Jody. It's
love you
awesome.
too. We'll see you soon in person.
Sounds great.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.